Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. So today we've got Jack Caesar from Riverhorse Games. He is the lead designer of the Hunger Games, which is Riverhorse's new game that is about to go, or may actually be, on Kickstarter by the time this video goes live.
Yeah, probably is.
Yeah.
Probably is on Kickstarter, and hopefully it's made $4 million.
Or at least in its first 10 minutes, I'm sure. What we've done is we've just had a playthrough of the game. So it depends on which order you're watching these videos. You may have already seen the playthrough, or you may be watching this first. But what we're going to have a chat about today is really about the theme of the game, the design of the game, kind of how you found it from a design point of view, and what people can expect when they back it, because they will back it. So over to you, Jack.
So yeah, I guess we'll start with the theme. And what we've done is we've taken the last two movies, or the last book, the Mockingjay sort of story. So that's where Katniss has escaped the Quarter Quell Hunger Games, and is sort of sparked this rebellion that's now in full swing, and the resistance is fighting against the oppressive capital. So it's really that sort of swing moment of the whole franchise where Panem is in the balance. So sort of your first two books are about sort of this building, and the capital of this completely oppressive cannot be sort of denied force, and this is sort of the first chance that they have to fight back and to actually have a chance of winning. So sort of takes that moment and tries to play it out. And you could have the capital keep their power, or as happens, well, that might be a spoiler. But, the resistance could sort of take it all and win the day.
Excellent. So we've already played through the game, so at least I can ask you some intelligent questions now, or certainly as intelligent as I get. I also spoke to Alessio as well, and he kind of likened it to games like Axis and Allies, and that kind of, that was his thought. I mean, how would you relate that?
Yeah, I'd certainly say Axis and Allies liked.
Yeah.
There was also some, I don't know if you played Fortress America.
Yep.
That's another one that sort of inspired some of the things. There's the popping up of resistance sort of around the board. They can sort of come from anywhere, which always means the capital never feels like they have a sort of secure hold anywhere, because the very people are working them against them. But yeah, so it's definitely a strategy game.
Yes.
With some sort of interesting sort of limits on how you can move. So in a lot of those older games, that you have a million units on the board, and you can move every single one of them in every sort of single way. And I used to, I'm a simple man. That used to sort of, I would constantly be halfway through a turn and go, okay, oh, have I moved that guy? Have I moved that guy? So sort of one of the core sort of bits of the movement in this game is you pick a district rather than sort of moving everyone, and all of the capital sort of, they go into the district, and all of the the district you've chosen, the resistance come out of it, which really means they move in a very different way from each other. The capital can bring that sort of huge force to bear in one place, whereas the resistance spread out and have all these sort of smaller forces, which is sort of what they want, really, to seed rebellion around the place.
I mean, it certainly felt from the game that we played, the capital feel really strong early game, and then as the game builds and as the turns go on, you're trying to kind of overthrow each of those districts, and you get more and more support from your kind of I guess the main characters from the books and the movies, really. And as you start to build up, you feel the power starting to shift a little bit, and there's a real I mean, the game we played, it certainly came down to the last turn. It was really close. It could have went either way. So it just kind of shows just how the game can pan out. It was really, really tense at times.
Yeah. So that was the other sort of idea of really wanted the capital to feel strong. Like this couldn't be it had to be an asymmetrical game. These are not two sides who have the same sort of fighting style or the same chances even. So the capital have everything at the beginning of the game. They have almost all of their units out to start with, and they get them back so quickly, fighting them as the resistance. You get a bit of an advantage. You manage to sort of capture them first. before they can capture you, and so the Resistance does have a bit of the upper hand in combat, but there's so many capital. But they can't move them very easily, and there's always something being chipped away at the corners of sort of Panem, and then sort of usually around sort of turn 4-5, the Resistance goes, oh, actually, I can just walk in here without resistance, and that's often the sort of turning point of the game. Yeah. So yeah, having that the capital be, they've got everything at the start of the game. They've got all the districts, they've got all the troops, they've got absolutely everything they need. But sort of the time is not on their side, as everything is always in a state of erosion. Yeah.
I mean, aside the gameplay itself, like I say, I really enjoyed it. We had a good fun playing the game. The miniatures, also the sculpts that we've got here. I mean, potentially there may be some changes. We're not playing with the final product, but the quality of them is fantastic. As I mentioned in the interview with Alessio, if anybody was at UK Games Expo, they'll have saw, I think it was the Katniss and the snow model that was in a cabinet there. So people may have already seen those kind of, the quality of those. And everything else I've seen today is certainly up to that level as well. I mean, some of the detail is just, it blows away most things I've seen, to be fair. So, I mean, I guess the core of the game itself is a really, really tactical, strategic game, and then the models on top of that just kind of give it the polish really on top of it as well. How have you found the development of this game? Because you've worked on a few other games prior to this as well, obviously.
Yeah, so I've worked on the Tales of Equestria role-playing system, and I recently finished Highlander, which is yeah. So I'm going to say it depends on when this.
It depends on when this video comes out. But I think when I was just chatting to Alessio, he said that it was pretty much on the ship coming over. So it might have reached Kickstarter by by the time this is out.
So buy it now. Yeah. So I've worked on a few things. This is definitely the biggest game that I've worked on, both in terms of the board size and generally it's very mechanical and sort of a thinking game. Whereas, well, Tales of Equestria is a very light game that is very much about sort of going with the flow and making friends and working together. Whereas this one is sort of it's 2 to 4 players. So the 2-player game is very much, whatever I do is going to be hurting you, and whatever you do is going to be hurting me. With 3 or 4 players, you essentially split the control of the capital or the resistance. So one player controls the troops, and one player controls the characters in the hand of operation cards.
Working well,
and the 2 aren't allowed to communicate.
So
there's some points where you're like, okay, I'm going to move these guys here in the hopes that you have the movement card that allows me to attack that strategic location.
Excellent.
So that sort of adds a new element to it. And but this is definitely the biggest one so far. And it was really fun to design, really, and feel sort of change.
And we were briefly chatting before as well, is that with a license such as this, that there's a lot of hurdles you have to jump through. There's a lot of boxes that need to be ticked before it can get to market. And I think the fact that you've maybe had some delays from getting things done has allowed you more time to work on this game. And what I would say is it's really, really polished. Some Kickstarters almost get to Kickstarter while there's still some development work to be done. This just feels it's the polished, finished game.
That is the bonus to those delays. Is that it will be all the sculpts are done. We're in talks with the manufacturers at the moment to get those sculpts ready for production. So everything is moving sort of 1 or 2 months ahead of where it would be if.
And that's fantastic. I think sometimes with Kickstarter, people maybe sometimes have that. I'm back in a game that's not finished yet, and there's maybe some kind of sort of trepidation about that. This is a finished game. It's just waiting for somebody to tick a box somewhere to say, "Yep, go with it." Really. And by this point, that box has been ticked, so you haven't got anything to worry about. What I would say is, Jack, thank you very much for inviting me down today to play through this. I've really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to. You'll already see it on Kickstarter, but I'm looking forward to seeing it on Kickstarter. And I really expect big things from this. And you've designed a fantastic game. So thank you very much.
Great to hear.
Yeah, cheers. So if you if you guys haven't already checked it out, check out the Kickstarter for this. I'll put a link below down in the description of this video. Make sure you check it out, head across and back it, and I'll see you all in the next video.